And a very happy Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. We had a little bit of rain to contend with on Saturday. That rain Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. A couple of us saw a little bit of rain on Sunday. But otherwise, it really wasn't a bad weekend across the Tennessee Valley. And we haven't started off Monday on too bad of a note either. Good evening. I'm FOX54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Dressman. Temperatures just a couple of degrees above where we should be this time of year. We climbed into the low and mid 90s. A little bit cooler over in northeast Alabama. We saw 91 today in Fort Payne and Scottsboro. Arab and Albertville saw highs this afternoon of 93 degrees. Those numbers exactly where we should be this time of year. We saw very similar numbers up across southern Middle Tennessee. Pulaski saw 93 this afternoon. Fayetteville saw a high temperature of 92. Everybody else climbed into the mid and upper 90s, which are only a couple of degrees above where we should be as we get ready to close out the month of July and head into the early days of August. Totally in the dog days of summer at this point. So this type of heat, pretty standard for this time of year, right? This is exactly what you would expect if you've lived here for more than a couple of years. You would expect temperatures to climb into the mid and upper 90s on any given day in late July or early August. Off to DeKalb County we go, where they have seen a little bit of rain this evening. This view, I believe, is over in Rainsville. They haven't seen any rain in Rainsville, but a noted increase in the amount of cloud cover. Also a little bit of haze that could be making it appear as though there's a little more cloud cover than there actually is. Otherwise, proving to be a beautiful evening across most of northeast Alabama. And maybe the folks that are getting a little bit of rain are happy that they're getting that little bit of rain. From the top of Montesano, definitely on the hazier end of the spectrum. Now, this haze is pretty typical for this time of year as well. We're not really having some sort of influence on the air quality across the Tennessee Valley. Typically, when it's hot and there's a little bit more moisture in our atmosphere, you would expect the haze to kind of move in. And that haze is probably going to stick with us for the next several days. Dew point sitting in the lower 70s, right around 73 degrees. And we're talking about an air temperature in the lower 90s this evening here at the top of the hour, right around 93. Bear that in mind if you are going to be going out for dinner this evening. Just bear those temperatures in mind, bear the dew points in mind. It's definitely going to be hot. It's going to be humid. You're going to want to stay hydrated. You've heard this once, twice, and 1,000 times. We're looking southbound on Memorial Parkway. Normally I look northbound. Decided tonight I was going to look southbound. A mostly clear sky, some fair weather cumulus clouds off in the distance, maybe at the top of your screen there, just under the banner, but that's about it. Otherwise, it's a rather uneventful Monday evening here in the Huntsville Metro. Current temperatures and heat indices across the Tennessee Valley. 93 feels like 101 in Huntsville. 90 feels like 102 in Fayetteville. 94 feels like 98 over in Florence. 89 feels like 97 in Russellville. 84 feels like 97 right now over in Fort Payne. Yes, temperature a little bit lower over in Fort Payne compared to everywhere else. But like I said, we've also been talking about a little bit of rain over about the last hour. Now, isolated and widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible everywhere across the Tennessee Valley for the next couple of hours. But then once we get beyond sunset, we really are going to almost lose that opportunity for rain. Though I tell you that, but then I will quickly follow it up with a couple of models have been trying to bring in a rogue shower or two late tonight, early tomorrow morning. 88 degrees at 7 o'clock this evening, 84 by 8, 82 degrees by the time we get to 9 o'clock. For the most part, going to be a beautiful evening if you'd like to spend some time cooking out on the grill, which I feel like is a highly debated thing in the summer. Like, do you cook on the grill more during the summer? You're standing over a hot item when it's already hot outside, but it's also just great to cook on the grill. I would rather stand on over the hot item in the heat than I would turn my stove or oven on inside my house, which could then force my AC to have to work a little bit harder. There's pros and cons to both, I feel like. Now, I also made an adult purchase not too long ago, and this surrounds my grill. I'm going to kind of bring it all back home. I made the adult purchase of putting a ceiling fan on my back porch, my back patio. I guess you call it a patio if it's in your backyard. I made that conscious decision to put a ceiling fan out there. And honestly, that has made cooking on the grill in the summer much better. I really enjoy it. So if you have the ability, I would suggest putting a ceiling fan over your back patio. For the most part, we are dry this evening, talking about a little bit of rain up across southern Middle Tennessee. The rain that we were talking about over in northeast Alabama during Fox 54 News at 5:30, really beginning to move into northwest Georgia. Otherwise, we're quiet. But like I said, a couple of isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible over the next couple of hours, and then maybe a rogue shower develops as we head into the overnight. Most of us are going to be just fine. Scattered showers and thunderstorms build into the Tennessee Valley as we head into the later part of Tuesday morning, early into Tuesday afternoon. A lot of this activity is going to be diurnally driven, where not everybody's going to get wet. Not everybody's going to get wet at the exact same time. But then once the scattered showers and thunderstorms move into the Tennessee Valley, they are going to be with us in some capacity through the afternoon. Now, some of this activity could pack a bit of a punch. Some heavier rain, some gusty winds, a little bit of thunder and lightning. With the heavy rain, the biggest concern would be the threat for some localized flash flooding. And that's certainly something that we want to take seriously, that localized flash flooding. I feel like a lot of people underestimate the powers of water, and I want to make sure that you understand the concerns that come with localized flash flooding, especially because flash flooding by nature comes about very, very quickly with little to no warning. We are then going to dry out as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning, but then as we head into Wednesday afternoon, isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to once again develop across the Tennessee Valley. But that activity is again going to be diurnally driven. So by the time we get to the middle and later part of the evening, early into the overnight, that activity is going to come to a stop. Heat advisory in place at least until we get to Tuesday evening. It's going to run until 9 p.m. on Tuesday. It is the exact same heat advisory we had in place last week, in that it includes everyone except Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties. We're not the only ones talking about the heat advisory. As a matter of fact, a good chunk of the Southeast talking about that heat advisory. Why? Because the weather pattern is consistent. It's our typical summertime weather pattern in that we're looking at a very large upper-level ridge that encompasses the entire eastern half of the continental United States. Now, under this upper-level ridge is a robust area of high pressure, and we see this develop every single year. The rotation around that area of high pressure brings in a lot of very warm and very moist air. Now, this pattern can weaken or intensify, but it is our typical summertime weather pattern. But based on the weakening or the intensification of this weather pattern kind of dictates just how hot we're going to be. And I would say we're in a reasonable middle ground right now. If this weather pattern were to intensify a little bit more, then I would say we're going to have some problems. But then if it ends up weakening a little bit, which it's not going to do, by the way, then I would say the heat is going to back off. The heat is going to remain somewhat stagnant. There's going to be a level of consistency with the heat this week. Dew points are going to be consistently in the low and mid 70s, putting us in the very humid category. It could be worse, and of course, we all know it could be better, but we're probably not going to be talking about dew points even in the sticky category until at least the later part of August, and even then, it's only going to be a couple of days intermixed here and there. Let's look at forecast heat indices through the week. Again, there's a level of consistency here. They are definitely going to be the highest Tuesday and Wednesday, backing off a little bit. It's only a couple of degrees Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The key takeaway here is that it is going to feel hot this week. But again, it's heat that you should expect. You should be very smart about it, but that's mostly because you should be very experienced with it. Maybe a little bit of patchy dense fog develops as we head into the overnight. Temperatures dropping into the mid-70s. I've got a low temperature right around 75 degrees. Tomorrow would be a great day to go to the pool. Only a couple of more weeks to go to the pool before the school year really begins to get here. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s tomorrow afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast, so just bear that in mind and make sure you take appropriate action if you need to. Much the same as we head into your Wednesday as far as the air temperatures are concerned, and then much the same as far as the heat indices are concerned as well. Temperatures climbing into the mid-90s on Wednesday afternoon. Now, if we look at the long term, and we're heading into the final day of July here, almost the entire United States looking at above average temperatures, about a 50 to 60% chance of above average temperatures here across North Alabama, Southern and Middle Tennessee. Don't forget to stay in touch with me. You can use X/Twitter and Instagram, but for the most part, a lot of my posting is done on my Facebook page, Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman.